Hi. That's better. Hi everybody, hello. So nice to see you after this long span of time where I can't explain to you what happened. I just complete and utterly have lost my mojo for paper crafting. I can't get it back. I don't know where it's gone. I don't know what happened that made it go away. But in the interim, I just haven't been doing any paper crafting, nothing at all. And, you know, it reached the point sometimes where walking into this room, I felt quite sick. Just really didn't want to be in here. So I decamped all my sewing stuff into the living room, and that's what I've been doing in the intervening period. I'm really sorry. It's all I can say. I know that some of you will empathise, I hope, that, you know, I haven't been able to go out. I've just been in a dark place, really. People have been messaging me, you know, my friends, and I just haven't felt able to message them back. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is. As I say, I'm sure some of you have been through something like this before at a certain stage in your life. I don't know. But what's kept me going throughout is sewing. So I'm going to go down that avenue for a while until my paper crafting mojo pops back up, and I don't know when that'll be or if it'll be, or I don't know. I mean, it could be tomorrow, it could be today. I've got no clue. But in the meantime, I'll be working over on the Miss Sew-A-Lot side of life. So I'm sorry. I really am sorry. And thanks for everybody who's kept the group going. And yeah. Anyway, let's get going on what we're going to do today. What we're doing today, I'm going to split into two halves. We're going to do one half today, because somebody messaged me on YouTube and left a comment and said, this is way too long. And I just put laughy faces underneath it, because, yeah, I mean, she was right. It was way too long. You know, try it from my side of the camera. It's way too long. So I've decided that today we're going to do a project. This is the project that we're going to do. It's a little, I still haven't put the tab on there, but the clip on there, but you get it. It's a little iPad case, or it could be a little kiddie's book bag to go to school. But you will notice that the fabric I've used, I've actually made. These were just remnants of in my remnant bin, which was getting overly full, so I had to do something with it. And this is the same thing. This is called Log Cabin, and it starts off in the centre, and it sort of grows out, if you like. It grows out that way on this one. And so I think we'll learn how to do that today, and then tomorrow we'll make the bag up with it, and then we'll all be happy campers, hopefully. So what I've done is I've got my iPad, which is a bit scratchy, and I measured it, and it measures 10 inches. So I want to take a piece of, I'm using fusible interfacing because I think it's going to lend more support to my iPad. It's, you know, it's going to corset it. So that measures 10, so I want this to measure 12. Well, that probably measures 12 3/4. Doesn't really matter as long as it's more, 2.5 inches more than your iPad, and a little bit extra if you want. And that measures 7.5. So that's 1, 2, 10 inches. I would like this piece to be this way on. And it's 10.5. That's great. I'm really happy with that. Well done. So as I say, I've got my glue side up, because I'm going to be ironing onto it as we go. And the thing about the log cabin is you start in the middle and you grow out. And you start with a square. Now that can be any size square. I've got a load of remnants here. They're largely Timmy. They're in my Timmy remnant box. There's some Seth Apter. There might even be some Kathy Holden. They're that type of fabric anyway. And I pressed them all yesterday so I'd be ready, because they were a right mess. So I've placed that somewhere near the middle. It doesn't have to be exactly central. You don't have to measure it or anything. And then I've got another piece that is the same size. So that's 2 by 2 and this is 2 by 2. So you can see they're the same. And I'm just going to flip that over onto there. At this stage you could put a pin in it if you want to. On this gluey side it's kind of not necessary. It kind of holds itself there. So I've got black thread in my sewing machine and that's what I'm going to carry on using. And I'm going to use about 1/4 inch seam allowance, something like that. And I'm just going to back stitch 1 stitch there from the top, and then I'm going to sew down to the bottom and 1 reverse stitch will do it. And then how do I cut the threads with this then? I don't know. How do I lift my needle? Like that. Okay. So some scissors would be nice. So cut your threads off as you go. I thought this machine did cut my thread ends off, but I can't see the button, so maybe it doesn't. Whoops. That's a bit long. Right, so we'll press as we go. So this is going to open up along that seam we've just sewn, and that's how it's going to be there, like that. So I'm going to be cautious because this stuff, the gluey stuff, I don't want to get it on my iron, on the base plate of my iron, because it goes horrible, as I'm sure some of you know. Right, let's see if we can find another piece that's not really long. I've got that piece. It's all going a bit brown, isn't it? Mind you, it is to me, so I'm not sure this is to me, you know, this one, but it's kind of nice, isn't it? So let's put that along there. Actually, it's the only pieces I've got that are any. No, I'll leave them. Let's go back to this brown. So you lay it alongside, you fold it over, line up those raw edges, and get yourself a pen, which I don't appear to have. Oh yeah, this will do. This is a ballpoint pen. Ideally, I guess you should be using a fabric marker pen, but it doesn't matter, nobody's going to see this. So that's where that is. Okay, so I want to sew from there down to that mark that I've just made. It's really, really easy, this, and it's so blooming addictive. It's gorgeous to do. So I'm just reversing there, and then I'm coming down this side till I get to that mark, and then I'm quite careful, and then just reverse. And lift my needle up, take that out, we'll have a look and see what we've got, what it looks like. Here we are. Sew your thread, cut your thread ends off. I'm also going to cut them off on the back. Just want to make a tidy job of this. Right, so that is at the bottom of this piece. So I'm just going to fold that over where I stopped stitching, fold it straight up on itself. So that edge is now lying exactly where the edge of that is. Take your scissors and just cut along there, like that. That's fine. And then we'll just press that down. Lovely. So we're pressing as we're going. Right, so the next piece then is this one. What shall I use for that? Well, I quite like this one. So, oh, it has an up and a down there. I didn't know that. So this one I want to go up there. So I'm going to just lay it down against the edge that I've just made. And I'm going to draw a little line where that edge there is. and take it to the machine and stitch that. See now where pins, you might think pins are quite a good idea at this stage because things move around. So just put a pin in there just to hold it in place. And then we'll stitch that one. Ooh, hello. Going slowly towards that mark that we've made and then reverse. A couple of stitches. That's all. Snip the threads off. There we go, and same thing, fold it over at the line that we made, fold it back on itself, that piece of fabric back on itself, and then just take your shears, if you're lucky enough to have any, and there we go, and then we'll just press that. If you don't press it, you'll find that your fabric comes in more, your interfacing comes in more than if you do it this way. Right, what should we have? Oh, it's a bit of, that's fancy, isn't it? Right, let's use that then. This has got some stringy bits on the side that I don't need. So just line that up. I'm just going to stick a pin in it and I'm going to make my mark, which is at the bottom, which is there. Ooh, you're a long way away today. Let me go and get Mr. F and drag you in. Right, we're in a little bit closer. I don't know if you can see that mark any clearer, but it's there right at the end of where the underneath bit is. So the mark's there and that's where the underneath is. And we're just going to sew that in, but just before we do, this line here should this should be parallel to it. So I'm just going to move that to there, so it's parallel with that first line that we put in. Put my pin back in, stitch down it. So just reverse for a couple of stitches and go right down the edge of there till I come to my mark. Go slowly. And that's that. Cut that off. Cut that off. Oh, I've got some stragglers on the back. There we go. And now we'll just remove that pin, lay that down over itself, right at the end there, and trim that off. Now that piece isn't 2 inches, but it really doesn't matter. You could put 1/2 inch pieces in if you wanted to. It doesn't matter. So now let's press that. There we go. Lovely. A bit of a yellow thing going on. So the next piece is going on here. So just keep following yourself around. What have I got? Got a piece of that. That's all the same tone. So every bit's the same tone. Let's try this. It's a bit goldy. So that's going to go there. So we just flip it over onto the piece that we've just sewn and just try and see if you can get that where it looks straight. You can see on here that bit's peeping out. It doesn't matter, just ignore it. So let's put a mark on the bottom where that's going to come to. Pop a little pin in there. And basically you just keep going, and it, like I tell you, it's ultra addictive. Well, I find it to be so. And then just slow down when you come to your mark. And reverse a couple of stitches, and that's that. You know, if you wanted to use this for a little one for school, I'm sure you could find some remnants, cheap remnants somewhere. And you see, you don't need very much of anything, really. There we are. Okay, let's fold this over on that line. Fold it back on itself, then you'll get it straight. Cut that off. And then we'll press this out. So I'm giving you tonight to get yours done, and then we'll be on the same place tomorrow when I come to do the make it up into a bag. Right, so I'm going to use this piece of music for the next one. So I'm just going to make sure that it's up to the top of there, something like straight down there. I'm not sure that is entirely straight. Just go by what your eyes tell you. They're usually the best of all, aren't they? So I'm going to make my mark there, put my little pin in and stitch down there. Yeah, I mean, you could make this look like anything, couldn't you? You know, sci-fi, anything. World is your lobster. Like I say, they don't all have to be the same width either. It really doesn't matter. Okay. Snippy, snippy. There we go. Now we just want to fold it up again. There. Level it with the piece. That's it. You don't have to be too specific. It's quite a hodgepodge way of doing patchwork, this, to be honest. You know, I think people used to do it this way forever, just with remnants of old clothes that they had that couldn't be fixed anymore, but there was still a little bit of viable fabric in it, so they used it like this to make blankets. Aren't we lucky? So let's use this piece then. Put that level down there, which I think is about there. And sew that one down. And see, I'm getting careless. I've forgotten even my pin now. I think I might have forgotten to mark it as well. Can't see a mark. Scissors. So I hope you've been having a lovely summer. Weather-wise, our summer was, I've never known the likes of it, to be honest. It was ridiculously hot. I mean, on one occasion, I just had to sit with a towel over my head, a cold towel. I just couldn't get cool no matter how. But you know, I know that some people love the sun, and if you're a sun lover, then if you were in Britain this summer, you've had a bean feast. I do like the sun. You know, if I go on holiday, I mean, I like the sun, but that's just too much. Way too much. I mean, in this country, we don't have, as a rule, air conditioning units in our house because it doesn't get that hot. So we don't actually need them. But this year, I tell you, it was terrible. So I'm just carrying on around and about, and you can see it growing. It's looking nice. All Timmy remnants. Nice way to use them up. So I'm just going to pop that in there, and I'm going to make my mark at the bottom. So yeah, this is your homework. Make yourself 2 pieces like this. I'm going to show you 1 piece today, but you need 2 because you need the bit for the front as well. And I'm sure if you look around, you've got plenty of remnants. Plenty. Oops. My remnants are getting in a mess. I knew they would. I'm a messy worker. Right, fold that bit back. There we go, and then fold that out. There's all sorts of ways people have come up with doing this, whatever you call it, pattern I'm doing. Log cabin, yes. Some people do all dark on one side and all light on the other, and that looks particularly pretty, I think. So all you do is just follow around. It could not be easier. It could not. That's a bit similar, isn't it? What's that piece? Right, if you find yourself at a place like this where you want to introduce a colour, you can join on a piece. You can see this piece isn't long enough to come down to here, but I've got that piece as well. So I could join them together and then I'll have 1 piece. But you could do that with something completely different if you wanted to. You could join that on there and you'd have a piece that's long enough. This is a really scrappy thing to do. In fact, I'm going to do that because I quite like it. So I'll just pop that there, do a little seam along there. You don't really need to reverse because it's going to be held, but I'm programmed to reverse. This wagon is reversing. There we are. So let's just move that a bit, press this out so it's nice and flat. I just did a very thin little seam in there. There we go. Right, so this piece is now long enough to go there, I think. It's a bit crooked, but that doesn't matter. So line that up at the top. And it's almost the length of that. It's just a tiny bit shorter. So anyway, that'll do. So let's sew that in. When you're sewing over it, make sure your seam's flat. This is just almost to the end, this one. So I can't say that I haven't been out in this whole time since I've seen you. We have been out on sort of jaunts and things, you know, on some of the nicer days, because to be honest, it was cooler in the car with the aircon than it was in the house. So on some days we did go out, and we had some really nice little jaunts about. Not going anywhere in particular, really. The borders, the Scottish borders, right beside where I live, is famed really for all the abbeys that it has, very old abbeys. So we sort of went round them and had a little look, see what we could see. That's not long enough either. I'll see if I can find a part that is long enough. No. This bit will be, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. So this bit here is sticking down further than it should have done, but I didn't trim it off because it's only a tiny weeny bit. So I'm going to line that up with there and then line it up with the rest. And it kind of sticks to it anyway, so let's take that over and stitch that. So yeah, I mean, we've been to some lovely places. Really, really we have. So I forgot to mark my bottom mark. There it is. Nearly there now. Really doesn't take long. Sorting your remnants out, that's probably the bit that takes the longest. But, you know, if you've got a remnant box, well, you're laughing, aren't you, really? I've got several remnant boxes, which, as I say, were all just getting away from me, really. Too much stuff in them. Right, now as you can see, this one is going to come out over the edge of here. Don't worry about that. We'll tidy all that up when we come to cut the pieces. See what size we need and where we can cut and what looks best, etc, etc. I've forgotten to do this. What's wrong with me? Let's cut that up there. I think it's alright. Okay, so one more piece down this side. What shall I use? It burst into song there. What have I got that's different? Got a little bit of that. That would go there. I'd have to join something onto it. What shall I join onto it? I thought I had loads, you know, when I started, but it gets away. Is that long enough? Oh, not quite. Almost, but not quite. That piece, surely. Yeah, that's great. Let's use that piece up. So it's going to go, I'm going to just put it where the interfacing stops. Bring it down to there, make a mark. There we go, sew that one up. Down to my mark, a couple of reverse stitches, although not strictly necessary, as I've said. Trim the thread ends off. I've got thread ends up here, snip them off, just fold that back on itself. Trim that off. Where's my scissors have gone? There we go. There we go. So I finished the bottom edge. I finished this one. So let's come up to the top again, see what I've got that's long. That's quite long, but I don't think it's going to be long enough. It's not even straight. No, I don't know if I've got anything that's long enough actually. I'm going to have to cut some more remnants, aren't I? Oh, I can't use that. I used it there. Huh. Yeah, okay then, let's make a strip. So we'll have that one there. No, that's the writing. It's got writing on it. Not that it matters. So I'll have that one there, and I'll have oh, I don't know what to have. This, is that long enough? Just. So let's join those two together. There we go, trim the threads. I'm just going to press this seam out. It's only a titchy little seam. In fact, I'll just press it one way, I think. I don't know if I can get in there to get it lying flat. Maybe I can. No, it's going one way. And for once, it's not the wrong way. So, let's see then. We want that there to there. Lovely. I'll see where I am when I get to the bottom. So overlay that over there. It just comes over the edge. Well, a skew angle here. And down to where you can see that is, which is there. I'm not sure that this, oh no, it might not be. Let's have a look at it and we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that there, but I'm awfully close to the edge. A bit too awfully close to the edge. You can see. I thought it was sitting at a weird angle. Let's get my chair organised. So I don't need to do any back stitching, that's quite secure. But let's just move it in so it's actually on the fabric. Not sewing thin air. You don't want this to fall apart, do you? That's great. Well, I think it's great. I'll have a look at it and see whether I think it's great or not. Yeah, that's much more on the fabric, you can see. So let's just fold that over and press it. I've got some threads here that have come from the remnants, I think. You can't actually even spot that that's a join, to be honest. So we're nearly there. I'm just going to take that off. Actually, I'll leave it on. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter at all. I've got a little bit of that. Oh, I don't know how long is that. That might be long enough. Yeah, that's long enough. Great. So fold it over line it up with the edge. This is going to be our last piece. How quickly did that come together? Very quickly. Okie dokie. Let's just press this one down, and really we should be about there, I think. Got lots of thread ends, which are never nice to look at. Right, so I need to trim this off at the bottom of the wadding. There we go, and then, oh, thread ends. Now we can flip this one out, and that will be our last piece. So if you're taking patterns or anything to your sewing group or knitting group, or, you know, coffee and a chat group, you could take them in this bag, and if people were Tim Holtz fans, they would be impressed. I'm just going to cut this off down the side of the interface, and I'm not cutting it off to a specific size yet. I just want to tidy it up so you can see what it looks like. So I'm just cutting down the edge of the interface, and then we'll have a look at it and see what we think. God, it's very humid. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, where I can show you how to make the bag up. It's a very simple bag, which I know you can do. And then we'll have made a project over a weekend. This looks like I've been sliding away from the 90 degrees, but I'm absolutely not fussed. It's a bit of scrappy patchwork, and at the end of the day, that's what I'm aiming to do. So, right, let's have a look then. There we are. What do you think? Nice, isn't it? And it feels all nice and soft and cushiony because I put the Finalizing H640 behind it. And as you can see, my iPad would fit in there no problem. You do have to allow some for the seams and turning out and whatever, so I don't want to take too much off that, but it's probably a bit high, probably a bit tall. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, and that is that for today. There is a log cabin. What you need to do, of course, is that's going to be the back bit, and we'll have a lining in it, and then we'll have a front in it. But then we need this piece as well. So if you want to cut yourself a piece of this H640, Finalizing H640, or similar, whatever you're using. Yeah, actually, I tell a lie, I didn't use it. I didn't use the 640. I used the 640 in here, in both of the back and the front. For this one, I just used, I used some that I got off Temu, to be honest with you. Just some thin. Gives it a bit of support, but not much, because this is where you want most of your support, where your iPad's going to go. So anyway, I'll talk through all that tomorrow, but if you want to get ahead of the game, you need your piece, your back piece, which is 2.5 inches at least, more than your iPad or tablet or whatever in each direction. And then this one, I just actually made up 2 pieces, and then I cut the slice where I wanted it to. I might want it further up, I think. So I'm just going to do another piece exactly the same as the piece that we've just made, and then we can make it up from there. So that's your homework. Get cracking. Let's have a look at you again, see what you look like. Oh yeah. Oh, so yeah, get on with your homework, get it done. And tomorrow we'll make it up. And then on Monday, either your children or you can surprise people by your lovely iPad cover. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate all your kindness. I appreciate everyone who's stuck by me. And I'm sorry that I'm not paper crafting. I am fabric crafting. So I'll see you again tomorrow when we'll finish this off. Take care all. Bye.